Welcome back inside the Simplified Technology Solutions Intermission Report. Austin Bruins taking on the Bismarck Bobcats. TJ Chillot here with Bruins defenseman Cullen Rush. And Cullen, your second year with the Bruins, your third year really involved with the organization. If you go back to your short little stint with the Grizzlies 2 years ago, how different is this year for you now that you're 20 years old? You're a veteran on this team. How does it feel for you? Is it any different than what you saw last year?
It's a lot different. I mean, considering just the situation, we've been through this year with the COVID and working around all that stuff. It's definitely changed a lot of things, but, it's nice to get back with the guys and, step into like a leadership role and just kind of be able to get it going this year.
I'm glad you brought up the word leadership there because the Bruins lost a lot of leaders on that blue line last year. Jaden Shields, Jed Pietila, so on and so forth. It's really left to you, Travis Shouty, Camden Gallagher. You guys are the three remaining players from last year's roster that have become the leaders. Do you find yourself in that role and bringing up some of these younger guys who are getting their first taste of junior hockey? Are you taking some of them under your wing?
You try to, and I mean, last year you had such good examples to kind of lean on and just take looks from, and it was awesome to kind of see how those guys were able to help us out, and you just try to pass it on to the next guys. And I mean, luckily we've got, great guys below us and kind of coming up in the team. So, I mean, they've made it real easy on us to, kind of help them out and step into, the team and really learn the system and be good guys.
One of the guys that the Bruins lost last year was Joe Mishak, and one of the benefits of his game is he was such an offensively minded defenseman. And I've seen your game kind of change a little bit. You seem to be stepping up into that role. We saw the goal that you got against Aberdeen, pinching up. You were right in front of the crease in the right place at the right time to put that in. And maybe it's just me, and you can tell me if I'm wrong, but I'm noticing you down below the dots a lot more this year and getting down behind the goal line, even in the offensive zone. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, I would say so. I mean, just trying to do a little bit more this year, and I mean, without, sacrificing the defensive part of the game, but I mean, it is what it is. I mean, sometimes I would say it gets me caught a little bit more, but, being partnered with Gally out there, it's definitely been, solid to have him back there and, know that he's just anchoring it at that point.
I was going to ask you, actually, do you change your style of play based on who your partner is on the blue line? Do you find yourself creeping in a little bit more, knowing someone like Gallagher is back on the blue line because you can kind of make a mistake and you might be able to bail you out, whereas if you're playing with maybe a rookie or someone coming in, you just kind of take it easy and don't take as many risks?
It changes a little bit. I mean, with someone as solid as Gallagher, I mean, you can just kind of trust that he's going to be back there. And I mean, our rookies and new guys, they've been doing a great job, and I wouldn't say that you got to look out for them, but with someone just as solid as Gallagher, you can kind of just trust that he'll be there and maybe, step up when you might, puck might jump by you or something. But, he's just a solid guy to be out there with.
You guys log more ice time than anybody else as far as the defensive pairings are concerned. Do you feel like you're in shape and ready to go? It's been a really weird year with this COVID and having weeks off at a time and everything like that. Do you feel like you're keeping up and you're doing all right?
Yeah, I think, we've had enough practice time and everything to get accustomed to the season and, enough preseason games to kind of let us get back into the swing of things. So I'm feeling pretty good, and I know that all the rest of the guys are feeling pretty good too.
How are you feeling mentally with this COVID stuff and everything that's going on? Obviously, we're in the middle of a very long trip here in the Dakotas. We've been gone for, ultimately, it'll be about 15, 16 days by the time we finally get back to Minnesota. This is a unique circumstance. It's nothing that I'm sure you've ever been through before, in your playing career. It's certainly nothing I've ever been through in my career being a broadcaster. So how are you guys doing mentally with all the close time together and spending all the time together in the hotels and stuff like that? Do you think it's a benefit, or are you really kind of just missing Austin a little bit?
I mean, it's definitely been awesome to kind of spend so much time with the guys here on the road, but, it is difficult kind of being away from the town and, just dealing with kind of the uncertainty that may arise, and you just kind of got to put it out of your head and focus on what you can control. And I think we've been doing a really good job at that. And, it's been definitely cool to be on the road with the guys and excited to kind of, I guess, play this weekend against Bismarck and, get home. But it's been a lot of fun for sure.
It's incredible because the team's only played, around 10 games or so. We're going to be going on 10 and 11 this weekend, but it feels like so much longer. It feels like we're in the middle of the season. When you look at all the guys that you've been hanging out with and the bonding and all this stuff, what's the identity of this team this year on the ice, off the ice? What do you think, if you could pick a word to describe this team, what do you think it would be, and how different is it from the team that you were on last year?
I mean, I don't know. I feel like this year we've just got such a tight-knit group. I mean, last year was kind of more of the same, but I don't know. The situation this year, with all the uncertainty, I feel like it's just brought us closer together as a group. And, I mean, you've just got solid guys up and down the lineup that, I mean, you can really put your faith in. And, I mean, last year's team was so good and we were really turning it on at the end. But, I mean, this year I'm really excited to see what we can do this year.
When you talk about some of the changes from the offseason last year to this year, one of them was another new assistant coach. This is the third year in a row that the Bruins have a new assistant coach. How does that affect you guys on the blue line? Obviously, Justin Fisher was a forward when he played, but he's the new assistant coach. Do you think that, that change is something that you guys are just fine with and you just roll with the punches because ultimately Steve Howard controls the D? What's that dynamic there? What's the coaching dynamic as far as the defensemen are concerned?
Yeah, Fish has done a real good job hopping in and helping us out. I think he's done a good job at, him being a forward. He's definitely talked with us and kind of figured it out as he goes. The early part of the year, well, it is still early, but I'm talking about preseason, I guess, just kind of getting input from everybody and kind of figuring out what we need to do as a group instead of kind of just coming back there and kind of trying to impose his will. I think it really helped us kind of get, build some trust in him and just kind of, build that relationship. It's been awesome.
I'm going to ask you one more question, then we'll let you get going. But we're probably going to have you on again because as we do this for every single intermission here throughout the rest of the season, we're going to go through that roster a couple times. So I want to have something that we can come back to. Mm-hmm. If I talk to you again, say late January, early February, what's something that you want to have accomplished by that point? When you talk about particularly, this upcoming weekend, and then the early games the late games in December and January, is there a goal that you have set in mind for this season that I can ask you about in a couple months?
Other than winning games, I don't know. I mean, I think as a team, we're definitely looking to get our power play, cooking. But I mean, other than that and winning games, just stringing some good play together and, just getting going. But I don't know.
It's a perfect answer because come January, February, next time I talk to you, if we don't get some wins strung together here, I'm coming after you.
I'll take that responsibility. That's fine by me.
Well, hey, you're wearing the A on the chest this year, right? You're a home captain or a home assistant captain or away? Away assistant captain. And you and Riddle, right?
I think Peter.
You and Jacobs. Okay. Because the Bruins now have 4 assistant captains this year.
Yep.
To go along. Okay. And you've even served as captain in a game or two this year, yeah?
Maybe.
Yeah.
I try not to think about it too much. I mean, we've got so many good leaders on the team. It's, the letter, doesn't mean too much to, I think, all of us. I mean, you've just got so many good guys in the locker room.
It's perfect. Well, you fit in really well. You're one of the veterans of this team. Everybody knows you back home in Austin. So thanks for taking the time coming out here and doing this, and we'll talk to you again soon.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Thank you.
That was Bruins defenseman Cullen Rush. TJ Chillot here on the Simplified Technology Solutions Intermission Report. We got plenty more coming up on the other side. Stay tuned. This is Austin Bruins Hockey on Power 96 and Hockey TV.